Any questions?
Senator, so we see the chart here, and wouldn't an increase in border appropriations, border enforcement appropriations create more encounters? And second of all, it seems like your party blames immigrants from everything from COVID to opioid deaths. What happened to the party of, say, personal responsibility?
Well, first of all, I think what you've heard here is mainly what this is attributable to is people turning themselves in and claiming asylum. And basically, as you've heard, then the Border Patrol, under our current laws, will process them through Health and Human Services. They'll be placed with a sponsor into the United States if they're on an unaccompanied child. And that is the fundamental flaw, although I agree with Senator Cruz, his explanation for why things are worse rather than they used to be, primarily because of the message being sent that if you want to come to America from anywhere in the world, just come across the border and turn yourself in to the Border Patrol. But there is a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. We are better as a country because of legal immigration. But this is dangerous for all the reasons you've already heard, and it's fixable with the right policies, starting with Congress passing bills like my Bipartisan Border Solutions Act with Senator Tsunami, Congressman Gonzalez, and Congressman Cuellar, bipartisan, bicameral legislation. But the Biden administration doesn't appear to care or even be interested in solving this problem. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question on the border, but I wanted to ask you about another important matter. You have been a huge advocate for Trevor Reed. What specific action would you like to see this administration take to secure his release?
Well, Putin needs to release Trevor Reed and other people who he's holding hostage, and he needs to do it immediately. We'll go back to the subject matter we're here for.
Thanks, sir. I wanted to ask you, the Biden administration said yesterday that they're going to be vaccinating migrants coming across, but at the same time they're asking for more money for COVID relief. What do you all think about that?
Well, it seems contradictory. I mean, the Title 42, which is currently in place, is designed as a public health measure to prevent the spread of COVID. And as you've heard, there are variants that are now showing up again. Hopefully, we've got enough people vaccinated and enough people with immunity to COVID that we won't have to go into the lockdown and the sort of mitigation measures that we experienced earlier. But there's just no way to reconcile this idea that you're still wearing masks on airplanes, even if you're vaccinated and you've been tested against COVID, and yet we're just continuing to usher people from, actually I think the number is roughly 150 different countries show up at the border, including, as Senator Portman pointed out, we're even seeing Ukrainians and Russians show up there because it's easier to come in to the United States, given the nature of our broken system, across the southern border than it is through other means. So there's just no way to reconcile those two positions. Yes, ma'am.
So it seems you're right. There is a ping-pong of policy depending on who's in the White House, but it seems like it's up to Congress. So I guess my question is, if this border issue is as severe as you all say it is, why isn't immigration reform legislation that even just a couple Democrats could get on board with not the number one priority?
Well, I've been involved with the immigration issue. Senator Cruz and I are both on the Judiciary Committee that has jurisdiction. Senator Portman's on his GAC, which also has a role to play in this. And so far, we've seen zero interest on the part of the administration. We can't pass a law without a presidential signature, and on our Democratic Party for any sort of solution to this problem. I mentioned one piece of legislation Senator Tsunami and I have introduced, bipartisan, bicameral. I thought that maybe if things got bad enough, the Biden administration would look for a lifeline because of their sinking poll numbers, because people are genuinely concerned about this. But there appears to be no interest on the Democratic side for any sort of reforms, including what we've been calling immigration reform in the past. The things that we could do on a bipartisan basis in the immigration space are impossible to do as long as this fire is raging and this catastrophe is occurring at the border. We need to find a solution to that, and I think part of that is going to be reforming our asylum laws. Yes, ma'am.
About that legislation that you introduced, what's the movement like? Has there been anybody from either party who has shown support, any extra support? I know you don't have enough, obviously, but Have there been any?
Well, we need to have a markup in the Judiciary Committee. The majority party has responsibility for running the committees, including Senator Durbin on the Judiciary Committee. And Senator Sinema and I have been asking him for a markup of that bill. I can't do that as a member of the minority. Senator Cruz, Senator Portman can't do that because we're in the minority. But it seems pretty hollow for our Democratic friends to say we need to do something in this space when they're the ones that have the authority to set a hearing and set a markup, and then Senator Schumer is the only one that's got the authority to actually bring it to the floor and allow a vote.
So it's safe to say there's not enough support to pressure leadership to move forward with it?
Well, I think the pressure you're going to see is the midterm elections. I think the American people are outraged by what they're seeing and the lack of attention to this. And as Senator Cruz said, I was down in Laredo with Senator Tillis and San Antonio over the weekend. Many of our Democratic office holders, the county judges, the mayors, other officials, they are outraged at the federal government's abdication of responsibility when it comes to this federal responsibility. And they are paying the price. They're being overwhelmed. And if Title 42 expires, as the Border Patrol has told me, they expect a tsunami of humanity coming across the border, and the Border Patrol has said they will lose control entirely.
Sorry, just one quick follow-up on that. You said that you spoke with Border Patrol about them. They said they could lose control. I'm just wondering when you had that conversation and if they provided any solutions from their end.
Well, we started the conversation months ago during the Trump administration. We asked the acting Secretary of Homeland Security what the transition plan would be. Since that time, a number of us have signed letters asking the Biden administration, who's been in office, as Coach Tuberville has pointed out, almost a year and a half, and they're radio silent. They have not communicated with us at all. They've not responded to our inquiries, and we're starting to see some stories in the press that they're concerned, but they realize that all of this is the fruit of their unwillingness to engage to find a solution. Senator